Today I'm going to review the Bisley Magnum pellets for a air rifle. They come in both 177 and 22, but I do 22 as that's what my air rifle's in. So you get about 200 roughly in a tin. Here they are. You should notice that these are actually quite large air rifle rounds, at least compared to things like the Spitfire I normally use just for sort of plinking. And the reason is basically these are very heavy as well. These are about twice the weight of a little pellet. The 200 round tin of these actually probably weighs more than a 500 round tin of the Spitfires. So what I'll do now is I'll get some scales out and we'll weigh the actual pellet itself, and we'll weigh a full tin, and I'll tell you some more about the pellet. That's gone up by not even an ounce, maybe half an ounce. No, this is not very scientific, sorry, but that's actually probably just about a gram or two for that pellet. Now the more interesting thing, we'll weigh how much an actual entire case of these takes. Right, a box of 200 of these is closer to 400 grams than 200 grams. That looks maybe to be about 300 probably, to be precise. Roughly around 300 grams. I really ought to get an electric scale for this next time I do this. But so it's not too heavy to carry a lot of these, but obviously, as I said, they're actually heavier. For a 200 tin of these is heavier than a 500 tin of some of the sort of cheaper pellets. Now I'll talk about what I like about these. Basically, because they're heavier pellets, they carry a lot more force when they hit a target. They don't penetrate quite as well as like the Spitfires. These penetrate better at longer ranges, but not at short ranges. So they're not really the ideal plinking pellet, because obviously they're a bit too expensive for that. Because a box of 200 or tin 200 of these works out as slightly more than a tin of 500 of the cheaper pellets. These generally end up being about £6 something a tin. But obviously, if you're hunting or doing something more elaborate with the air rifle, these are much better. I've noticed these actually stay closer to a 0 point than the Spitfires do, in terms of if you've got a scope zeroed for a certain range, say of the Spitfire always hit that sort of area at that range, but then when you start going further or closer, you have to go up or down more when you aim. And with the Bisleys, they actually seem to be, no matter what range you're at, they always seem to go quite close to the crosshair, or at least not to the extent the Spitfires do, which is nice. But overall, if you were using a pellet for hunting, I'd certainly recommend this. I haven't shot too many pests yet of the air rifle, because we haven't had that many in our garden, but I have taken out a few slugs with these actually, because that's more fun than poisoning slugs, shooting them with the air rifle. But that makes quite a mess when you shoot a slug with one of these. But yeah, in general, these are quite good pellets. I recommend them. As you can see, they're quite clean actually, straight out the tin, because a lot of pellets, especially the Spitfires, are actually quite dirty pellets, so you need to clean the gun more. But overall, wouldn't hurt to have a supply of these. I normally bulk up more on the cheap pellets, and then a couple of tins of these. I've got 2 unopened tins of these, so that's 400, whatever's left in this tin. Then I have a few unopened tins of Spitfires, which gives me probably about 2,000 spare pellets in total. And that's sort of half of that's cheapo, sort of just target shooting pellets, general use pellets. And then these are the more precise pellets. So sorry if I've rattled on a bit, but yeah, these are good pellets. You should definitely look into them if you're thinking about hunting. One thing I forgot to mention was these expand very well once they actually hit something. On the right is Bisley Magnum I fired from a while ago, and I kept it just because of how well it mushroomed. You can see the size difference is quite incredible. There's the actual bottom of the skirt there. So that's been almost like a 4 times increase or something, and obviously that left quite a nasty channel in whatever I was shooting with it. So obviously you can see why they deliver quite a lot of force to whatever the target is.